Hi and welcome to another presentation of Tech for Everyone, free training in tech provided by eTrain. Today's presentation is about the power supply unit. What does a PSU do? And why are there so many different ratings for a power supply unit? And what do we use for power in laptops? It's an obvious question, but we're going to look at it in a little more detail. Well, a standard computer power supply unit converts alternating AC to direct current DC, and that's very, very important. Simple reason is PC components work on direct current only, and therefore they need specific voltages, not the voltage that comes from the mains. So we need a device that can take that voltage, convert it to the voltages we want, and supply it to those devices. And that essentially is what a power supply unit does. So the voltage is changed from the mains to the voltage needed by the PC in a power supply. The computer power supplies three main voltages, and these are pretty standard. You'll find these three voltages on any personal computer that you use: 3.3, 5, and 12 volts. To get it, we need an input voltage of 230 to 115 volts, or actually anything in between, but certainly not going too much beyond those two extremes. Now, to accommodate that, a lot of modern power supplies are auto switching. So you supply the mains current, it detects that current, that voltage as well, and adjusts itself accordingly. It's pretty neat. The alternative is a manual switch found on the back of the power supply unit that you normally have to switch with a screwdriver depending on where you are. So if you're in a country that uses 230 volts, you need to set that switch to 230. If you're in a country that uses 110 or 115, you've got to make sure you switch that thing back, or you may damage your machine. Now, there are many cables that come off a standard power supply, and there are many connectors at the ends of those cables. Some of the common ones you can see on this screen: the motherboard P1 20-pin connector, the mini Molex that was once used on the floppy drive, and the Molex that was sometimes used on optical storage as well as mass storage devices. On a modern PC, you can expect to see SATA connectors, a small power connector for a fan, and an optional 4-pin connector power supply that's sometimes used on things like graphics cards. Now, all power supplies have some way of their power rating being measured, and it's used in physics, and it's called the watt, a unit of power. It's based on the equation that power in watts is equal to voltage times current, or W is equal to V times I. A very important equation. That equation leads us to one simple and yet important statement. The higher the power rating of a power supply, the more voltage and current it can supply to additional devices such as expansion cards, the graphics card being one of the most popular ones. Graphics cards have gotten much more complex and sometimes require additional power. Because of that, gaming PCs normally have very high capacity power supplies because of the need to supply extra power to a graphics card. So, always remember that the higher the power rating of the PSU, the better it is. When it comes to portable computers, they are powered from the mains as well as by an onboard battery. The DC power is supplied through an AC adapter. There's a typical one on this screen right now. AC adapters are auto switching. Remember what I said about that? It automatically adjusts to the input voltage, and you can see the input voltage range from around 110 volts all the way up to 240. Just like desktops, the greater the power of the supply, the more devices it can support. Again, based on that, power is equal to voltage times current. Now, the battery pack for a laptop must be rechargeable. If it wasn't, then laptops wouldn't last very long. It's also got to be removable. We know that these things are rechargeable, but everyone knows that even rechargeable batteries end up being depleted and they need to be replaced. Now, some of the technologies used with laptop batteries included nickel cadmium and nickel metal hydride technologies. They're pretty old because modern laptops almost exclusively use lithium-ion battery packs. So, in summary, the power supply provides DC power to a personal computer by converting AC mains. The standard voltages are 3.3, 5, and 12 volts. The power rating is measured in watts. And laptops use an AC adapter and a lithium-ion battery. I'd like to thank you for listening to this presentation of Tech for Everyone, and I'll see you next time.